Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim. Today I'm going to be doing a try chapter tag. Hey, so I'm really excited about today. So for one of my prompts for TBR Trail, I pulled the prompt that said that I had to read the first chapter of 3 different books and then choose from them which one I was going to read this month. So what I decided to do was pick the first book from 3 different series that I have on my shelves because of Booktube, and then see what I thought of those. So what I'm trying out today is Eve of Man by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher, Illuminati by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and finally Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I think I might start with Eve of Man because I feel like I'm most intrigued about this one. I know less about it, so I think I'm going to start here. I really don't have any expectations. The only thing that I know, or I think I know about this book, is that this is set in a world where there are only men left and there are no females or no female children being born, I think. Yeah, so it says on the back that Eve is the first girl to be born after 50 years. So it sounds super interesting to me, and it seems to have good reviews on Goodreads, so I'm really excited about it. So I will get started reading this and I will let you know my thoughts in a sec. Okay, so it seems like it's got a prologue for a few pages and then chapter 1. So I'm going to read the prologue and then chapter 1 as well. Okay, so I just finished reading the prologue and chapter 1, and I am intrigued, I will say. So this book is kind of so far written in the perspective of Eve. I did notice that the first couple of chapters were titled Eve, so I flipped through and I saw that there is at least one other name. So there's presumably different perspectives throughout the book. But the prologue just kind of talks about where Eve came from and her parents and what happened at the beginning of her life very briefly. And then chapter 1 is her at 16, she's just had her 16th birthday, and she's been kept in this facility kind of away from the world that she's grown up on her own. She has a robot friend because obviously there's no other girls around, and she's not been allowed to mix with any boys her own age, so she's just kind of got her and her robot friend. And they're talking about the next day when she gets to meet the first of 3 different potential mates that she has to life partner with and hopefully create more girls for the world. Okay, so it kind of brings up a lot of wonders for me. The first wonder is I kind of wonder if this book is going to go into detail about gender and gender roles. Doesn't seem like it will, but it might, I don't know. The only reason I say that is because she talks about makeup that she has and how she has to be really careful with it, because there's no demand for makeup anymore, so people aren't buying makeup, and so this is like her last bit. But obviously men wear makeup as well. Not all men wear makeup, like not all women wear makeup, but you know, so that made me think that they might brush over gender roles. I'm not sure. Hopefully not, and hopefully there is discussion into that, and kind of it is interesting like how the world would be with just men, and like obviously women are still there but older. But this is going to be the first time that she meets a man as well, so I'm interested about the facility she's been kept in, because obviously if it's being run by men, do they just like not actually talk to her or converse with her in any way? Do they just send the robot in? So yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting, definitely. So yeah, so far so good. I'm very interested in reading this. I want to know what the world is like with just men, and I want to know more about her life in this bubble thing. It's like being in the Truman Show, I guess. People are watching her all the time and she doesn't know about the world. I want to know if she's been able to watch movies and stuff like that. Like, does she know anything? She's saying she doesn't know anything about the world. So does she not literally know anything about it? They just kept her on her own, because that must be very boring. And also from the kind of diversity point of view, genetic diversity point of view, I feel like it makes no sense to give her one mate. There's going to be problems with consent here, because she has to meet 3 guys and choose one guy to spend the rest of her life with. Taking consent out of the realm, surely it would make sense from a scientific point of view to have her have many different mates and like kind of have more genetic diversity in there. That obviously leads to a whole host of problems of its own. So yeah, it's a touchy subject really when you like delve deep into it. Okay, so next I think, oh I don't know, okay, I think I'm gonna go with Illuminati next. So Illuminati I literally don't know anything about apart from that it's mixed media, so it's really cool. It's got like loads of different documents and everything from these people who are living in a spaceship. That's all I really know. And I didn't really want to know much more about that because I know that loads of people read this and absolutely love it. Yeah, there's not really clear chapters in this book, so I'm just going to read like enough pages until I feel like I've got a good idea of what I think. Not too many pages, obviously. So, and then I will let you know. This book is so heavy. I feel like I'm going to be making a confused face the whole time through this because I don't know what on earth is happening. I've just finished reading up to page 18 of Illuminati, and I am already hooked. This is so interesting. So yeah, so it's basically, this is a collection of documents sent by the Illuminati group describing the events of what has happened since, what was it called? Let me see. Yeah, so there's an illegal mining colony, Carenza, and their oppositions have basically attacked them and killed loads of people. And so this is like, yeah, like I say, like the collection of documents. And the first document is kind of split between two different people. So it's KD Grant being interviewed and Ezra being interviewed, Ezra Mason. And they're recent exes, they're both 17. And they're being interviewed, I think it's like the day or two after. Yeah, so shortly after the evacuation of Carenza. So they've both escaped the colony basically and are on these ships, but they're on different spaceships. And they're just kind of relaying what happened to them on the ground. And it's so, like, it's written in a way where I feel like, even though it's just like a conversation about what happened, so you don't actually get to see it, and the way that they are explaining what happens, you can just completely visualize it like it's an action movie. And it's funny as well, like, so because they're in the midst of this breakup, so they're both pretty sarcastic, and they're talking about how even though they're in this absolute chaos, they're still arguing about their breakup and stuff, and it's just quite amusing. I'm so interested to read this one now. I think I'm definitely more interested to read this one than The Eve of Man. Oh, and it says on the back that the year is 2575, so it's pretty far into the future. Definitely a winner so far. Really, really interested in what's going on with this. It might not be the one I go with because I'm gonna read, pokes myself in the face. I'm gonna read Scythe by Neil Shusterman next and see what I think of this. I think they do have, yeah, has regular chapters in here. Yeah, so I'll read the first chapter of this and get back to you too. Yeah, so I believe this one is set in like a dystopian utopia world, which I think there's like always a bit of a murky line between those two things, where basically every kind of like disease has been eradicated and like all cancer has been like cured and all of that, and they know how to just live. I think they can live forever as well, from what I believe. So because they can't like have just overpopulation on the planet because there's just too many people, and if people don't die then just the population will just keep increasing, and so they have to have these people called Scythes who are trained to kill people based on an algorithm, I think, that decides who is most likely to have died at some point in their life, or from, I'm not actually sure about that bit, I could be making that up. But it doesn't sound like a very great way to decide. I think this follows two people who are kind of forced into training to be Scythes, and it's like about them. So anyway, we'll see what I think. So the first chapter is about a Scythe turning up on a family's doorstep and very creepily asking them to make him dinner. And they're sitting there not knowing who he's there to kill. And he's saying he's just there for the meal. And yeah, it's just really interesting because, so this world, they've solved everything, they've got rid of disease, etc. Like I said before, they can also reverse time, so reverse aging. They can't reverse time, they can reverse aging. So you can kind of get as old as you like, and then you can just reverse the process and go back. I assume you can go back to any age you want. So the Scythe that came round was like, he appeared to be in his 60s, but he was actually 180. And you're kind of following a girl called Citra, who I assume is going to be someone who eventually becomes a Scythe, maybe. And she's quite sassy to him. She's just like, if you're going to glean someone, okay, so they call it gleaning. They call killing someone gleaning. They don't call it killing, I guess to make it sound nicer to everybody. And Citra is quite sassy to him and is like, if you're just going to glean someone, just get it over and done with. Like, why you have to sit here and eat dinner with us if you know you already know if you're going to kill someone or not. It's interesting. I want to read this. I want to read all of them. I knew this would happen because I have them on my TBR for a reason, so I obviously like the sound of them in the first place. Okay, so yeah, I think in the order of least wanting to read is probably Eve of Man. Then I can't, okay, Scythe, I have all of the books, so I feel like it would make sense to read Scythe, because then if I really like it I can just binge the whole series because I bought the box set. But then, do I really want to be reading about people like just killing for a living right now during like the pandemic and stuff? It's not very happy kind of reading. On that basis, I think I'm going to read Illuminati this month instead, because it made me laugh so much in like the very few pages that I read. If it's going to make me laugh, then this is the one I want to go with. Yeah, so this is officially on my TBR trail. TBR. I feel like I want to skip all the ones I'm currently reading and go straight to this one. So I'll let you know in a wrap up that I will eventually do my thoughts on this one. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you would have chosen and if you think I've made the right choice. So that is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody is doing well and I look forward to chatting to you guys down in the comments. Take care guys, bye.